And we're back. Sorry about that for our viewers and/or listeners of the VOD. Um, it seems that East Coast servers are having problems. Because all the East Coast servers are just not wanting to work.
It's Cthulhu. It's the update of that thing from Georgia last week.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But we're on a server in Texas right now, and it seems to be holding steady. So we're gonna go with that for now. To recap, for those that probably didn't hear it, because we were having connection issues previously. Before we delve into the world of Call of Cthulhu, for those watching listening at home, understand that this is the world that thrives on horror, on the unsettling, on making you uncomfortable, so there may be themes and aspects of the story that are particularly unpleasant for some viewers, and in those cases, it is a perfectly valid response to stop watching or listening if you feel you cannot. For those who remain, welcome to Call of Cthulhu. Last time on Call of Cthulhu, our investigators checked out Dig Site 13. Checked out Dig Site 13, not chucked out. Discovered an area of ground that had been particularly scalloped out in a dig where they determined that the bones of the giant whale thing probably came from. Sorry, I'm just watching our bits go our like connection quality go up and down rapidly. And determined that a boat likely flat bottomed, likely made of metal, or at least adorned with metal, left from the river nearby and headed out east. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I think don't think we're gonna catch it, especially now with the boat. I don't see anything else around. We may have found everything we can find here. I'm looking around with my either flashlight or lamp. I don't remember what I have.
You got thing. A torch. Yeah, you got a light.
Yeah.
One of those big like old school flashlights where it's like
a
mug. It's like a mug with a light bulb attached to it.
Oh yeah. Yes, it is getting late, and we were going to go down to the docks early tomorrow anyway to Fishtown, right? Something like that.
Yes.
Yes.
I looked through my notes real quick. Pull out my notebook.
You had planned to go down to Fishtown to talk to one of the people that had gone missing. Their family lives in Fishtown.
Yes.
So you were planning on heading down there to see if you could talk to their family.
Wen house.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I guess we'll make our way back here. I think we came this way. And tracing back to the site and then up to I think we had driven here. Probably.
Yeah, you drove up to the site.
I wanted to, because I don't remember if I had before, just get some samples of that wax that was left behind, just in case.
Sure.
I'm a forensic
You
person.
reach down and you collect some of the wax.
I think it's tallow. Okay. And go back up to the car.
As you're heading back to the car from the river, I want both of you to give me a listen check.
Okay. I have to remember how the sheet works. Where's listen? There it is.
In the middle of the center row.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Fail.
Also fail.
All right. Neither one of you hear anything particularly out of place as you head back to your car.
All right.
Get in. Doors closed. Radio comes back on as you turn the car on.
Mm-hmm.
Bing Crosby once again playing on the radio. As you head back to town.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to your hotel. Park. Head back up. Anything you're doing before passing out in bed?
Just sitting and writing down my notes, making sketches of things, layout of there was like it's like in a pentagram, so I'm drawing that. Yeah.
Are you sketching anything else?
The river scene where because there was like a it was kind of a little bit of a cliff, if I'm remembering right, and it sort of like slid down, and that's where the bones
Yeah.
were probably excavated from. Probably that
Okay.
as well.
Give me a craft roll.
Okay.
I think it's craft.
I don't see craft on here.
The skill. Oh yeah, that's because craft is an additional skill that you can add if you want one. I think it starts at like 7th edition. Call of Cthulhu. Not that one.
Otherwise, I was gonna say, could I make a case for forensics or something else, because it's like
Sure, you
this
can
is
make a forensics
part
roll.
of it's part of what I do as an FBI agent is,
Sure, you can make a
accurate records.
Yeah, art and craft is 5% basic.
Okay.
So, but no, you can make a forensics roll, sure.
All right, that's a success.
All right. So you're sketching out the crime scene, just sort of going over your notes and going over your process, sort of de-stressing from the day.
Mm-hmm.
Make me a sanity roll.
Okay. There's all those hard success.
All right. So after a while, you're done sketching and looking at it, and you just start sort of idly sketching in sort of a separate, because you've done a couple of different views on this.
Mm-hmm.
You just start idly filling in that gap, the scalloped part of the ground, with what you imagine this creature might look like, based on the sketches that you had seen previously in the professor's office and the bones that you had seen.
Mm-hmm.
Fill it out, and it looks sort of like it ends up looking kind of like a whale, but if the whale ended in tentacles rather than a tail. You're sort of assigning bits and places, and you still don't know where some of those weirder shaped bones go.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine it maybe it had some sort of horn at the top, and that might be where the spiral is from.
Right. Anyway, I close that and go to bed. It's late. Good night, Amelia.
Good night.
Are you doing anything before going to bed, Amelia?
No.
So the two of you go to sleep. Dreams blissfully unhaunted by visions of anything occurring. It's almost no time at all before you feel yourselves waking up again. You're in your hotel. Both of you are in your respective rooms as you wake up.
Yep. Get dressed. Head on out. You ready? Knock, knock, knock.
So
Ready.
as you open your door from your room, Nina, before you head over to Amelia's room, you open the door and it opens out onto a street.
What?
You step out, you're on the campus.
Oh.
You are No, that's right. This door always led to the campus.
Okay.
You're on the you're outside of your room. You're outside of the apartment that you sort of lived in when you were going to school. In fact, you're late for class.
Oh God.
Right. Okay, yeah, nope, this is okay. I gotta get going. I make sure I have my things.
Yeah, no, you've got your bag. You've got your
Okay.
bag, shirt, scarf, pants. You forgot pants.
I turn back to get my pants.
You run back into the apartment. You cannot find your pants anywhere.
Shit. Do I have a skirt?
No skirt, no pants, no nothing. Nothing that covers the bottom other than your underwear.
Shit. I grab my sheet. I try and do like a toga.
All right, you do a toga.
Yep. Shit.
All right, and then you run from the apartment into the main building, into your classroom. You slam the door shut, sit down. No one seems to notice.
Okay. I
You
feel
good?
relieved,
You good?
and I try and concentrate on the professor and taking
And
my
that's when
notes.
you wake up for real.
Yep. Uh-huh. Beautiful.
Amelia, you had no such dreams. You just
Yep.
This is what you get for going back to your old university ever. Like this is just karma.
you recall
Yeah.
this dream perfectly, Nina.
Yep. Oh shit. Okay. Get dressed. Make sure I have pants. Double
You have
check.
pants. You do have pants.
Open the door. Step out into the hallway.
Into the foyer between the two
Yeah,
rooms.
yeah. Knock, knock, knock. You ready?
Eddie.
Okay. Whew. Time to go down to the Wens.
Of course.
Do you want to stop by the registrar or the administration building first to see if you've got they've got the paperwork ready for you, so you know the exact address, or do you want to go roaming around Fishtown?
That would be better if we can get the address.
Yeah, I feel like we should be able to get the address given that it should be in those records that we're retrieving today.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, stop and get that.
All right. So the two of you head first to the administration building, which Amelia has been to twice before now, and head in to the registrar's office, who is sitting there waiting. Sees you when you come in. Ah, yes. The assistant and detective from yesterday.
Yes.
The registrar reaches over and just sort of places a pile of papers that have been bundled into these sort of brown cover folders, and tied with some twine, onto the desk. Here are the copies of the records that you requested for the 3 students, and they are. And so you see, there's 3. They're sort of individual stacks, but they're all tied together into one large stack. Is there anything else you might need for your investigation?
Yes, there was one other thing I realized I wish to inquire about. Do you keep records of complaints against faculty members?
We do not here, though I can put in a request to get those accessed for you if you wish.
Yes, we would like to access the missing professor's complaint record.
All right, I will put a request in, and we should be able to get that to you by the end of the day.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
If there's anything else, please don't hesitate to ask.
Looks to Nina.
Yep. I don't think there's anything else besides that.
Wondering if there's a report of one day where she ran to school in a toga.
No. Head out.
All right,
Get
so
in the car.
you have 3 stacks of folder. You have a stack of 3 folders.
It's a lot of paperwork. Do you want to flip through that while I'm driving, or?
Absolutely.
right.
And first I'll flip to find the address records
Alright.
for
The address, yeah. It's sort of printed on the front. You have the 3 students' names. Their basic information is very easy to find, as well as their listed sort of address on record. You find the one for.
Yeah, I'll read that off to Nina so we can start driving, and I will do a cursory examination of all of the files.
Cassandra Wynn.
Yep.
And as you start driving, you begin reading. So you can give me a. So each potential role will give you different information. You can give me a library use roll. You can give me an appraise roll, You can give me a spot hidden roll, or you can give me a history roll.
Okay, no psychology.
These are records, not like emotional like psychologist reports. So no psychology in this case.
Okay,
This is just
I'll
like
do spot hidden.
this is data crunching. So
Yeah.
mostly.
So I can only make one of these. I'll make spot hidden.
You can eventually make any of them. It's just that it'll take you a while to go through the papers looking for what each thing will give you. So
Yeah.
at the moment,
Yeah.
just one.
Well, first I want to, and I'd like to focus on Wynn's records first.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead and give me that roll.
Fail.
Okay. So you do still find out some amount of information. Going through this sort of basic level of information you're going to get no matter what you roll. Cassandra was a sort of a fairly decent student. She was sort of a ABC student. Got really good grades in the classes that she was really interested in, which seemed to be those related to her major. Got decent scores in all of the various standard classes that you have to take when you go to school, and did very poor on basically anything related to physicality. She was not a very physical person. Didn't do very well in physical ed or anything that required a lot of physical exertion. Definitely seems, just from your sort of cursory glancing over through it on the drive, she seems to have been more the type that oversees a dig, or that would oversee a dig, rather than the person actually doing the digging. Just from your perspective of her grades and how well she did. She very good marks in English, very good marks in communication classes, very good marks in her archaeology class, but not so much in things that required a lot of grunt work. What you learned that she was on scholarship to the school. Her and her grades were good enough to keep her scholarship going, so she was there entirely on basically state funded at this point, as opposed to being funded by her family.
Yeah, that's actually important. If I figured out, is it state scholarship or is it institution specific scholarship, like a grant from a specific person?
Combination of both, state scholarships and institutional scholarships from the school itself, from Miskatonic U, particularly relating to their
But nothing that stood
department.
out as like this person was a specific benefactor.
Right. No, she doesn't seem to have any particular specific benefactors. There is not much here on social things. She was not a member of a sorority or a fraternity. She wasn't a member of any sort of on-campus organization. She stayed on camp. She stayed in on-campus housing in the senior building, or in the building that has the juniors and seniors. She was one of the lucky few people to not have a roommate in her level of the dorm. It's not listed as to why she doesn't have a roommate. Just doesn't have a roommate.
Because she's a sane person who couldn't put up with a roommate like any other reasonable person on the planet. Says Aaron Amelia would not have cared.
There's a variety of reasons you might not have a roommate, particularly in like sort of dormitory style housing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But seems like, upper level, no, middle to upper level student, hair on scholarships, no major red flags that stand out at the moment.
Right. Okay. I'll pass that along as I'm reading it.
All right. And we haven't heard anything about her friendships, anyone she was particularly any persons on.
No, though I am gonna start trying to cross-reference class because I asked for like class registers for the classes they were in.
Yes.
Anyone that was in classes with all of these people.
Yeah. So you start going through that. That's still gonna take you some time.
Yeah.
You're sort of roughly halfway through going through 2 of the folders by the time you pull on into Fishtown. The immediate site of Fishtown is very different from the rest of the city, where you sort of have this fairly cosmopolitan New York-esque level of construction, but with lots of Gothic architecture instead of the more modern architecture or brutalist architecture. That sort of cuts off when you turn off the road onto a dirt path that heads down towards the river. And all the buildings along the river road are ramshackle huts for the most part. Lots of them look like they were built out of spare spare ship parts, like things that would have been disassembled and then reused to build housing. A lot the electric lines are run along what look very clearly like repurposed masts rather than traditional electric poles. It's very, very slum-esque. Not strictly speaking slum, but slum adjacent, really, as far as the aesthetic of the Fishtown. And even through your rolled up windows, you can smell the fish.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's gonna stick.
It sort of permeates the car. Like within a minute of turning onto that dirt road, it's just you hit a wall of fish smell.
Why do you think I'm not wearing any furs at the moment?
Oh, I hadn't noticed. Sorry. Fair.
Vaguely offended, huh?
Eventually, you pull into where the Wynn residence is. It's sort of there's a selection of houses on the northern side of the Fish Road that look kind of like they're leaned together. You're not certain. Some of them might just be like duplexes rather than single unit houses. It's hard to tell where one house ends and the other house begins.
Oh, does Cassandra have listed parent names on this?
Yes.
Okay.
1 second. It is
Sorry.
No, that's fine. You have Ben and Stacy Wynn. Binh and Stacy, Stacey.
Stacui.
Stacey, Stacy.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. All right.
1C, not 2. Sorry, I accidentally hit C twice when I was typing it out.
It's fine. Yeah. Presumably, we park and head out.
Park.
Mm-hmm.
There doesn't seem to be any. So the parking is sort of on the street parking. You just sort of
Yeah.
pull over so you're not in the way. None of the houses seem to have driveways. Many of them don't seem to have cars. And yeah, you head up to the door.
Yep.
They have boats, which are more expensive, but
Yes.
yeah.
Knock.
Ding, 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 ding. There's the faint sound of a chain rattling as you knock on the door. No response.
Sit back on my heels and wait a second.
Okay.
Is it too late? I know we had tried to get out here early because
it's roughly getting to dawn right about now. Sun's just starting to peak up. You look around and you see people exiting houses around the place, heading towards the river.
Yeah, they should be here still.
Yeah. I will knock and say, are hear about Casey?
Cassandra.
Because
You,
I just mixed her name with her mom's, didn't I?
yeah.
We're here about Cassandra.
Make me a listen roll, both of you.
Okay. We're real bad at listening.
Would you like to spend any luck points on that? Or would you like to push the roll?
Critical
No.
success. Don't bother.
Yeah.
All right. So, Amelia, you said listening for a response. Not only do you not hear the sounds of any activity inside, you don't hear anything from the buildings like attached to it either. This sort of block of houses sounds suspiciously quiet.
All right. Didn't I hear a chain when the...
Yeah, you heard a chain when you knocked. It's like the door is
All right.
latched on the inside.
I will just take that as whatever it is. Slide a card under the door. We just want to find Inter and make sure that she's safe.
Really,